lost in this a little bit with the Mariners because I think we've talked mostly about Arozarena and even Jimmy Garcia because he's pitched pretty well since showing up. Is Justin Turner? What do you think they'll benefit most from having Justin Turner on this roster?
I think that there are two things that Justin Turner brings, and one of them that you brought up is the makeup and the personality. Like, he's just been a winner, right? And that's such a difficult thing to define. What constitutes a winning player? And to me, it's beyond what he does in the clubhouse, and it ties into the second thing. He takes good at bats, right? He will work counts, he will work walks, and he does not strike out. And that's something that this Mariners lineup has desperately needed throughout this season. And Justin Turner, at this point in his career, when he hits a home run, you're going to get really excited because they are few and far between these days. And when he hit the one into the left field stands, it was a pretty awesome moment. But more than that, he's going to get on base. And if you can have someone in the middle of that lineup who's consistently getting on base at a higher rate than those who he is replacing, it's an upgrade. It's a big upgrade. And I think those two things, in getting them for the price that they did in RJ Schreck, who's, nobody's idea of a tippy-top prospect by any means, and really wasn't on, I don't even know if he was on any of the Mariners, like, top 30 lists. To have made it through this trade deadline without giving up Emerson, without giving up Farmelo, without giving up Ty Pete, without giving up Cole Young, without giving up Les Montes,
Harry Ford,
without giving up Logan Evans, without giving up Harry Ford, and to have made the upgrades that they did, they're pretty good. Now, we may look back, guys, on the Arozarena trade with a little bit of like Aiden Smith. I keep hearing his name from smart teams that he's got a chance to be really good. And Brody Hopkins' first start for Tampa, it blew people in that organization away. So it's not as if they got Randy Arozarena for nothing. They just didn't have to give up the best of the best guys, the ones who you expect to be the core and foundation of this team going forward. And it's a really neat trick to pull off in a market where teams were expected and ultimately did pay heavy prices for good players.
Jeffrey, 49 games to go. Who wins the American League West and how?
The Seattle Mariners, on the strength of their starting pitching with just enough offense when Julio Rodriguez comes back and goes on a September heater that finally allows me to write the story that I've been talking about all season.
From your mouth to God's ears, Jeff. That would be pretty good. If it happens, I was reading your piece yesterday, which I really liked, on the deadline, looking back at it. Stop. Yes, I'm always kissing Jeff's butt. Yeah, that's been the general relationship we've heard here.
I really loved your article
Stop it.
yesterday.
You wrote October.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't block you from ESPN.com.
That is too bad, yeah. You wrote that October is a bullpen-driven month. I think it was while you were writing about Preller and what he had done in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And I think you're absolutely right. Agree with the sentiment. The Mariners' bullpen all of a sudden is not what it was. There's a lot of injuries, a couple guys that have regressed. It's kind of Andres Munoz, maybe Jimmy Garcia, and then a lot of question marks, unprovens, guys who haven't. What do you do if you're the Mariners and you do make it to October? How do you handle your rotation, maybe moving somebody into the bullpen? How do you handle all that?
I have not discussed with people in the organization who would be the likeliest to move to the pen in October. So this is just me, like, speaking off the top of my head. But I have a difficult time believing they're going to take Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, or George Kirby out of a potential playoff rotation, which, boy, if you could go Brian Wu or Bryce Miller in a 3 to 9 out role, you can bridge a lot of problems between the starting pitcher and Andres Munoz.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's the thing. You have, if you're a Mariners fan right now, you have like the ultimate reliance on Munoz, right? Do you get scared when Munoz comes into a game?
No.
No, I only feel annoyed that they have to use him so often. Because I have so much trust in him. Yeah.
Or for 4 outs or for 5 outs
right.
and a bunch of these extended situations too.
And that's why I think the playoffs actually behoove teams that maybe don't have necessarily the bullpen depth, but have those elite arms that they can use at the back end. Because let's think about what the schedule looks like. Once you get past the wild card round, and it looks like, regardless of who it is, whether it's the Mariners or the Astros, or if the Rangers go on a heater here, whoever the American League West champion is, probably not going to have as good a record as the Guardians, probably not going to have as good a record as the Orioles or Yankees. So they're going to be playing that wild card week, and they're going to have 3-game series at home. Aside from those 3 games in the wild card series, guys, there is no point at which a team plays more than 2 consecutive games unless there's weather. So that means that if you have the kind of arm who could throw, say, game 1, and maybe you don't need him game 2, and then he's got an off day, then he can throw game 3 and game 4 and go back to back because he had those 2 off days before that. Then he gets another off day.
Right.
The off days just really benefit teams that have elite guys and want to lean on them. And I'm not suggesting that Paul Sewald is an elite guy by any means. But if you look at the way that the Mariners managed their bullpen last October, they didn't have a whole lot of relievers, but the way they were able to lean on Ryan Thompson and Kevin Ginkel and Sewald got them all the way to the World Series. And so, the way that Bruce Bochy similarly was able to lean on, it felt like almost exclusively Josh Sborz and Jose Leclerc. And Josh Sborz and Jose Leclerc are nobody's idea of a dominant bullpen. It's the same way that October works translating to the bullpen. Sometimes guys just go on a run. And if your guys go on a run at that point, it can take you all the way to a big fat gold ring on your finger.